Viewer discretion is advised.
Connie knew one of the D-class subjects. Despite being an ex-con, he was a kind, gentle man who abhors violence in any form, which was why it came as a shock when he suddenly grabbed the head of his fellow D-class from behind and smashed it against the floor, over and over again. Cries and pleas echoed the room as the D-class begged to be let out while getting his head caved in. Then it got quiet. Violence ensued as the men fell into a frenzy and attacked one another. In the middle of all this, like the eye of the storm, was a young girl, no more than 3 years old, sitting idly and playing with her crayons and coloring book. Connie looked beside him. Dr. Clad appeared undisturbed as he studied the live feed intently. Hello everybody, I'm TheRubber. Today, we bring you a tale from the SCP Foundation. Connie noticed the wry smile on Dr. Clad's face as he observed the camera feed of the room. Some were desperately clawing and slamming at the door, while some were busy snuffing the life out of one another. Sir, shouldn't we let them out now? I think we've got enough data on 053's ability. Sir, these men are gonna die. Dr. Clad ignored his assistant, seemingly entranced by the violence the D-class inflicted on each other in the room. One of them tried to attack the girl, but he was suddenly overtaken by a seizure and dropped dead in front of her. 053 only glanced at him with mild shock, then resumed her coloring. Sir, please, we have to stop now. What? Oh, right. Open the door and get these men out of there. A small team of armored guards rushed into the room. They flashed their shock batons and went to work on the fighting D-class subjects. Dr. Clad's smile widened as the guards became increasingly violent in their methods. When his baton snapped from the incessant beating, a guard then took off his helmet, held it high with 2 hands, and began pummeling a downed subject. Another used their broken baton as a shank. Amidst the chaos, 053 continued doodling on her Dr. Seuss coloring book, woefully unaware of her effects on these men. This is insane! Sir? Sir? Dr. Clad was enthralled by the scene and was unresponsive to Connie's call. Left with no choice, he pushed the buttons that released knockout gas into the room. Hey, what the hell do you think you're doing? Stop this! Dr. Clad pushed Connie aside and attempted to stop the gas, but it was too late. Everyone inside the chamber, including 053, fell unconscious. This is insanity. It's gone further than it had to. Didn't you see how even our men were almost turning against each other? The look in their eyes? Dr. Clad scoffed. You haven't seen anything yet. You see those injured ones? They're still moving, breathing. Humans are inefficient, nothing compared to what you're about to see next. He then pressed on a button and talked into the intercom. All right, send in SCP-682. Wait, what? 682? You can't be serious! The cell door opened, and the great lizard was forcefully led into it. A heavy-duty chain was wrapped around its neck and limbs. The armed guards struggled to keep it under control while maintaining distance from it. Some of them would shock 682 with electrified staffs to make it move. Dr. Clad then pushed the button. The door closed shut, trapping the men and 682 inside the room. No! What the hell are you doing? The men panicked, and 682 could sense it too, as it began to see the guards waving of the staffs as empty threats, and moved towards them. Get back! He shoved the staff against 682's body. It roared as it was shocked, and then it became aggressive. 682 broke the staff with its powerful jaw, and began to twist and turn violently. The guards who were holding on to the chains were pulled and tossed around by 682's strength. The men were sent flying across the room as it roared. The commotion roused 053. When she saw 682, she gleefully ran towards it, and 682 quieted down to low growls and let the girl embrace it. Now's the chance. We have to open the door now and let these men out. Arrgh! Dr. Clad stunned Connie with a shotgun as he tried to operate the console. I will not let you interfere with my test again. Inside the cell, the guards were becoming violent under the exposure to 053 and attempted to harm her. As they rushed upon 053, 682 roared and protected the girl against the men. Its jaw clamped tightly on the guard's torso, tearing him in every which way. Its tail was powerful enough to break their bones with one swing. The room got quiet within seconds, except for 053's gleeful giggles as she played around with 682. Unbothered despite the room was littered with body parts and half-painted in blood. Connie struggled to get up and was shocked by the horror he saw inside the cell. All this carnage and violence, all because of 682 and a girl. Yeah, she's perfect. She'll be a valuable asset for the Foundation's effort in certain operations. What did you say? Never you mind. For now, this will be reported to the higher-ups. Your insubordination today will not go unpunished. Connie was suspended for a month. When he returned, nobody in the facility greeted him or acknowledged his return. He also found out that Dr. Clad had replaced him with another assistant. One day, Connie overheard a conversation between Dr. Clad and his new assistant. Yes, sir, everything's in order. But what about the reptile? Don't worry about it. The operation will go as planned. Take this. Dr. Clad produced a badge from his pocket and gave it to his assistant. From a distance, Connie could recognize it as the insignia of the Sarkic cult. This should grant you access to the deeper levels of the facility. Good luck. Connie quickly hopped into cover as they turned to leave the area. 1,000 questions started gnawing at Connie. What are they planning? What operation? Why wasn't I informed of any of this? The next day, the facility alert went off. SCP-682 was attempting a breach. An emergency call came through the intercom from the containment facility. It was from the head of security. 682 has breached containment. I repeat, 682 has breached containment. Some of my men were killed, but they were able to track its movement. Signal indicates that it's currently heading towards the Cauldron area. Cauldron? Isn't that Sarkist territory? Dr. Clad closed the call and stormed off immediately. Something isn't right, Connie thought to himself and followed after him. Connie shadowed Dr. Clad through long corridors and arrived at an isolated room within the facility. A holographic projector lit up and showed Dr. Clad's assistant. He was wounded and appeared to be in hiding. Screams and heavy fighting could be heard in the background. Sir, your plan worked, but I couldn't get out in time. The building has entered lockdown. They started tearing themselves apart within minutes after we arrived. I'm starting to feel really scared. I think they're coming for me. The assistant was suddenly tackled. The camera dropped on the floor, showing people engaged in a chaotic brawl in the facility. The assistant struggled to grab the camera as a frenzied Sarkic cultist had him in a chokehold. Save me, sir! Please, save me! Someone hit his head with a bat, and his face dropped in front of the camera. His cold, dead eyes stared blankly at Dr. Clad. Connie gasped when he saw 053, walking across the room in the background, looking around anxiously. What the hell is going on? Why is she there? So you've seen everything. What is this? What's going on? The Sarkic cult has been a pest for a while now. They should have been eradicated a long time ago. And now, I'm just doing what needed to be done. By sending a child to do your bidding? Yes and no. With the girl around, they'll simply go mad and tear themselves apart like the animals they are. We won't have to lay a single finger on them. And when it's done, 053 will be transported back to our base, like nothing ever happened. Complete deniability. It's genius, don't you think? No. You've gone insane, Doctor. I mean, look at her. That poor girl, she's clearly afraid of whatever's going on over there. And yet, here you are, completely unfazed by everything that's going on. Oh, you don't have to worry about her safety one bit. Look, on the screen, 053 looked happy as 682 suddenly burst through the wall and started mauling the cultists to death. When the rampage was done, the room was littered with severed body parts and painted with blood all over. 053 and 682 then snuggled up against each other, unbothered by the surrounding devastation. How will you explain that then, huh? How will you recover the reptile without raising alarms? Your plan is flawed, Clad. Huh, that's where your part in the plan begins. You see, you're the fall guy here. Complete deniability, yes, but it doesn't apply to you, unfortunately. Dr. Clad put on a mask as the door shut. Knockout gas was released, slowly filling up the room. You bastard. Connie took a swing at Dr. Clad, but the latter simply took a step back and evaded the punch. Connie was weakened by the gas and fell onto the ground.
Ever wondered why no one talked to you after you came back? That's right, you've been terminated, unofficially. An outsider who should not be spoken to about the Foundation's work.
You won't get away with this.
But oh, I will. The Foundation is a big organization, and you are nothing but a single cog further down the system. No one will even realize that you're gone. You've always been a pain, a liability in the way of progress. Alright then, it's time for your nap.
Connie could feel his consciousness fading as his energy was slowly being sapped away. On the screen, the girl noticed the camera and walked towards it. She picked it up and began playing with it with 682.
When you wake up, you won't remember any of this, but you'll find yourself cold, alone, and miserable in an orange jumpsuit. Then you'll finally start making real contributions to the Foundation. I'll see you again in the labs.
Before we end this video, we are proud to present these incredibly sweet pieces of fan art. A big thank you to all of you. You can now send us your fan art, and we will be more than happy to show off your best art piece in our next video. Check out our description below on how to submit. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Which SCP do you want to see in the next video and why it is interesting? Let us know in the comment below. We will draw your story and share it with the world. Don't forget to click like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell. Please share it to your friends if you like this video. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.